Hey people, Femboy Seth here. Now, let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen a squirrel or other inferior life form outside of your bedroom window and thought to yourself,
let me grab the hammer from the old toolbox and let it know who owns the property?
then you're seriously ill. And what I've learned from my own personal experiences is that the best way to confront that problem is with exposure therapy, and so here we are. Monster Hunter World is a game about hunting monsters. Wait for it. In the world! It's like the you delve into exotic locations such as a forest, a desert, the fucking coral reef, and bring forth a calamity to all endangered species and give the excuse, it wasn't me, they died of sword poisoning. Essentially, much like the Canadian fur trade, when you put all the battery and slaughter aside, it's an authentic fur co-creation simulator. But before you can hunt monsters and turn them into clothing, or even see any part of the world, as the title suggests, you need to delve face first into unfathomable tests of patience and perseverance. The game begins, and you are on a ship. Wow, how original. And you are met with a plethora of unskippable, dragged-out cutscenes, monotonous, ear-stabbing dialogue, and unforgettable, vibrant characters such as Commander and Hunter and and don't forget Armory. Armory really is my favorite character. When faced with a creation menu, I knew what had to be done. Yeah, that's right. You know why these characters don't have names. You know why they're so devoid of texture, of substance, of pizzazz. In a timeline long ago, they did have names, they did have characters, they did have personalities. But I sacrificed them all to show my true form. The egg of the king screamed, and as the sun was eclipsed, I showed myself in blinding light and beautiful glory.
Hey, what's your name, newbie?
No, Bowels. That isn't my name anymore. It's actually... I love Lee! Yo, the fucking Femboy here. And yes, this is our main protagonist in Cutscene Hunter World, an alternate universe version of Griffith from the most quirky, wholesome anime Berserk School Idol Festival. A version of him where he actually didn't do anything wrong. Yet. And while I was expecting to have access to the literal Griffith hairstyle that's in the game, I came to learn very early on that it's locked behind a fucking paywall, a substantial one at that, so I'll just be passing on that one, thank you very much. This is alternate universe Griffith after all, one where he's not in the same playing field as Smash players, accompanied by his trusty companion, Bowels, the black source cat. Bowels, it's like guts. And wielding his trusty explosive hammer of death and doom. I admit, I took some liberties with that part of it, because the longsword, admittedly, in my correct opinion, sucks shit through a curly straw. Now, on first thought, I was going to venture out into the world, the Monster Hunter world that is, for this little video with my original character from 3 years ago, appropriately named Heroin Spoon. But I decided it best to take an approach with a new character instead, though one that is still underneath the umbrella of opium alkaloids. And so, now with our main characters, I Love Lean and Bowels, we are now ready to embark on an adventure through the world, the Monster Hunter world. After this unskippable cutscene, and this one, and this one too, and this one. Now this would be all fine and dandy, but I'm not here to watch a fucking movie, Grandpa. Go back to Vietnam. I'm here to smash some monster pussy with a hammer, and turn that shit into the most fucking dapper J's you've ever seen, homie. It's like they don't actually want you to play the fucking game. And the tutorial, oh my god, the fucking tutorial. It acts as if I'm Helen Keller and Stephen Hawking's abused stepchild and have absolutely no faith in me whatsoever that I've ever played a video game before. Like, here I am, 10 hours into the game, and it gives me a prompt letting me know that I can use WASD on my keyboard to move. Thank you. Sincerely. Basically, the game doesn't want you to play it, but when you are finally able to play it, it goes a little something like this.
He's already dead!
Or, you know, like this. So I tried the plunge, it didn't work, and okay, the fuck is even going on? I just want to climb on the rock. Alright, let's try this again. deforestation, slaughtering animals, and turning them into cute coats. This is the experience you are signing up for in Monster Hunter World, a core gameplay loop as old as time itself. You kill something big, turn it into a big weapon, use that big weapon to then kill something bigger to make a bigger weapon, so on and so forth. And come to think of it, as historians have delved deeper and deeper into human historical records and recovered ancient tomes of knowledge from our long past ancestors, we can see that we were, in fact, playing Monster Hunter way back in like 10,000 BC, with a formula so engraved into our primitive minds, it's damn near impossible for such a title to fail. It is in our most natural desires to seek out large beasts with big fucking weapons and dismantle them to bone, rip out their lungs, spleens, gallbladders, scales, small intestines, cum even, and wear them as decorative pieces to show as proof of our lineage. On that topic of wearing animals, did you know I had a pet goldfish named Cat? Because I actually thought it was exceptionally funny to be like, hey man, you want to see my pet cat to someone? And when they're like, yeah, sure, why not? I go to show them and they see a fish and I'm like, yeah, there he is, that's my pet cat. And then they're all like, oh, but that's a fish. And I'm like, yeah. But let me tell you, Monster Hunter World evoked that hunter-gatherer part of my brain that I've spent so long attempting to shut down. As I'm writing this script, as I'm reading this to you, as you are watching this video, this very moment, I am wearing my pet goldfish. This game did things to me. Alright, let's get down to ass tax, okay? I know you're a busy man, you're a scholar, let's get down to it, okay? That sounds really fucking awesome, and or kinda disturbing, and that's because, well, it is. But really, what's the story? The lore? The world? How do I personally get to that stage? What does it take? Well, the story is, there's this guy who's basically Hamilton Morris, I think, and then there's this giant volcano that literally like moves, and the same people with the mental gymnastics skill to build this place overnight just somehow lost it, and we have to find it. I think I don't know, I didn't pay attention to it. It wouldn't be that bad if the cutscenes were skippable, but I digress. It's like you have a game concept with a very popular gameplay loop, so you should just stick with that and do what you're good at. You can have a story, that's fine. You don't use it to then gatekeep the fun parts of the game and make the story inescapable. It's like if Taco Bell made a burger and then forced everyone in the world to eat it at fucking gunpoint. If you're going to go to Taco Bell, odds are you don't want a burger. And if they make one and put that shit onto the menu, hey, that's fucking fine. I'm all for Taco Bell putting on the fucking Taco Bell burger on the menu. You can offer it to me all you want. You can say, hey, you want this? Yeah, you got a coupon? You want the Taco Bell burger? But you don't fucking shove it down my throat at gunpoint. That's where I draw the line. In short, the story really sucks and the NPCs are boring, but I suppose lore-wise I had something to do with why that was. Regardless, I am entertained with my time spent in this game. That reason being that the fun part of the game, the combat, is absolutely flawless. At least 90% of 10% of the time. Now, it's comparable to anal sex. It's not for everyone, and while it's not inherently bad, it does take some getting used to, and you might shit a few times, but once you figure out what works for you, it's a fucking godsend. There are a number of weapons for you to pick and choose from to slaughter endangered animals. You can use a fucking goddamn helicopter blade and fly around, or you can use the fucking gat and go on drive-bys. You can say fuck this and just grab the giant sword and swing that shit around. Or you can just go like, hey, you know what, man? Fuck all y'all. Y'all can go suck a caterpillar dick. I'm using the big-ass giant hammer that fucking explodes. And there's like so many more weapons to choose from. There's like 20 of them, and they drastically impact gameplay. Now, in the words of my scaly friend Reed, he said to me,
in Monster Hunter, you go big or you go home.
Now, I don't think he was talking about the weapons here, to be frank, considering his history of Dragon Dildo collections, but I can say for certain that it applies here regardless, and I'd personally have to agree with him. The bigger the weapons, the more fun you'll have. Now, we move on to the world, the Monster Hunter world, that is, appropriately named the New World, from how uninspired half of it is. Get it? It's like the Amazon game that flopped. However, unlike the Amazon game that flopped, it is absolutely stunning, but you need to major in nuclear chemistry and engineering and have written a thesis on maneuvering safeway passages throughout power plants to be able to properly transport your body around these fucking maps. Like, these are fucking disgusting, and I stand by this. Eventually, you do get used to it, but I had an easier time moving around cities in fucking Final Fantasy XIV than moving around the wacky maze of mirrors that is the forest. It's still pretty regardless. Each zone is really pretty, full of life and death. And while I I don't own the DLCs, and I never will, I've seen some of those screenshots, and let me tell you, home fry, that shit looks bussin' on a stack and a half bucko Kingman. The Coral Highlands have to be my favorite. The pinks and the other colors too, I guess, make it an absolute aesthetic cum jerker. It absolutely slaps the king. But then there's the desert. That's basically every other desert in any other video game stepchild who died 10 years ago and no one reported it to the CPS. And that place, that is not it. It just makes me bored. Also, the mini hub above the place where everyone goes to die is really pink and pretty and makes me in real life. Altogether, whether I liked a zone or didn't, when you're hunting for monsters as a monster hunter in the Monster Hunter world, like the title, by collecting their tracks, mucus, severed scales, bones, cum, footprints, it really feels like an immersive place where you're doing detective Bill Nye the detective. The home base of operations is this place called Astora, like where Solaire is from, that someone made out of broken ship parts overnight, and it's like really fucking cool, and you have enslaved animals cooking other dead animals for you, and there's this pig named Jeffrey Dahmer, and what? And it's absolutely wicked fresh. It's like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but in Romanian, without subtitles. It's a great time. Now, I understand what's on the tip of everyone's tongue, that being the arm wrestling minigame in the hub. This is an innovation. It's the true endgame progression to Monster Hunter New World, the MMO by Amazon Games. This is really extraordinary and very easy to cheat in. The aesthetic of this place is super gnarly, with all these ships just fucking clanked onto one another. You know, that shit's wicked. And you know, all these ships, it really makes me beg the question, hey, what do sea monsters eat, huh? I guess they eat fish and ships. I guess it's like a pun. It's like a joke. Yeah, I guess you could say they have a seafood diet. They see seafood, and they see food, and they see it. They see seafood. They see food, and they eat it. They see food and they eat it. Also, there's an arena somewhere in the Monster Hunter World of Warcraft where they just throw you into a pit with a fucking dragon and or a pig and say,
you fuck the pig, and then you eat the pig afterwards.
So then you just fucking kill the thing and then wear its skin. And then you walk back into the arena while wearing its father and say, hey man, I'm wearing your papa. And then you just do it all over again. You know, speaking of wearing other people's fathers, co-op exists.
So you just gotta breathe in, alright? Oh shit. I'm fine. Hey guys, I learned how to swim. I'm fine now. It's really easy. Hold your fucking stomach, clap your hands. Fuck! Wait, what the fuck's going on with our cats?
And frankly, I think it sucks dick. You know what else sucks dick? The monsters in the Monster Hunter world when drawn on E621. Thank you for unpromptly proving that to me, Reed.
No problem.
But yeah, the monsters, there's a bunch of them, believe it or not, and they're all in the world. The world, and they're insanely diverse. There's like a dragon and a T-Rex and a bat that turns into a fucking balloon, and there's just a fucking dragon, and like there's this dinosaur, and there's a dragon too, believe it or not. I love them all, unless they fly. If they fly, it makes me pissed. Matter of fact, I got a hammer. Fuck. Matter of fact, I actually got noise complaints from my deaf neighbors because of how angry the flying monsters make me when I'm trying to swing around my hammer and they're just up there in the sky, occasionally landing to poison me. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is that the fiery dragon guy's poison mechanic and a few other mechanics sometimes makes Monster Hunter World feel like the Dark Souls 2 of video games. And while I fucking hate the cutscenes in the quote-unquote story, I really like the little introductions each one of these great beasts had. It's fucking rad. You know what's bad? This bitch. I want the handler to die. The game is hella pretty and colorful and it's fun, and at the end of the day there's not much more to say about this extraordinary piece of slow gate-kept content other than much like an orgy with mimes. It certainly gets better once everyone shuts the fuck up. Speaking of mimes, if I had the power to go invisible, I would strangle them. Because no one would know what the fuck was going on. They'd all think it was just like an act. I don't know. This video was spontaneous, awkwardly paced, and rather weird, but I don't care. I had been suggested to make a video on this game a number of times, and decided to actually craft one to the best of my ability, and so here we are. Take what I say with a grain of salt, however. I'm not exactly a Monster Hunter World addict, but I do partake in it from time to time, and I really don't know what the fuck else to say, so, review time, anytime % speedrun, let's go! Go, go, go! I really like this game. I think it's fantastic, minus the cutscenes and the story, but it's overpriced because of Capcom, and that's kind of a sin. But I digress. If you're interested in committing heinous acts of genocide such as the ones that the Bible foretold, or if you're a scaly looking to bust a nut, or two, or multiple, then I suggest either seeking advice from a friend or loved one, and maybe considering professional intervention, and perhaps a prescription. And after all those steps, I suggest you should 100% try out this video game. It gets a out of 10 from me. Thanks for watching. Okay, see ya. Bye.